If you're anything like me, you love buying Monsterfish or oddball fish. But they also come with a downside. Like if you're also anything like me, unfortunately, you don't have either unlimited money or unlimited space. So keeping lots and lots of monster/oddball fish is gonna be hard for you. But don't worry. In this video, I've chosen 5 of the most common and most sought after monster fish, and I'm gonna give you 5 alternatives which are way easier to keep. To make it even better, the alternative fish is gonna have all of the advantages and none of the disadvantages of the previously mentioned fish. So let's just dive in. The first fish I want to discuss is the Maboo puffer. Everyone loves pufferfish, and the Maboo is the number 1 for many when it comes to pufferfish. However, this fish also comes with a lot of disadvantages. Let's list the pros and cons. A Maboo puffer needs a gigantic aquarium, at least 1,000 liters or 264 gallons. Secondly, a Maboo, because it's such a large fish, also has a big appetite. And it's very expensive. Lobsters, crabs, clams and other shellfish are on the menu. The Maboo puffer needs these to trim its beak. Unfortunately, this food is very expensive and Maboo needs a lot of it. The high food bill is thus the second disadvantage of owning a Maboo puffer. And thirdly, the Maboo puffer is a very expensive fish to buy. Like where I live, you're gonna, for like a small Maboo puffer of like 5 centimeters or 2 inches, you will quickly be paying like 300 euros. Of course, keeping a Maboo puffer also has a clear appeal. Let's take a look at that. Firstly, it's a pufferfish, duh! Pufferfish are one of the most fascinating fish to have. With their unique appearance and fun behavior, they are on almost every aquarist's wishlist. Secondly, the Maboo puffer is a pufferfish you can combine with other fish. Whereas most pufferfish are either aggressive or extremely aggressive, and therefore should be best kept in a species-only tank, a Maboo puffer can be kept in a community tank. And thirdly, and I think this is the reason why most people love Maboo puffers, is the fact that they're so personal. Like when you come home, they swim up to the glass, they greet you, they're happy when you're feeding them. It's really like owning an underwater puppy. If I had to name a fish that had all of the advantages of the Maboo puffer without any of the disadvantages, I would choose the Amazon puffer. With its maximum length of 13 centimeters, 5 inches, the Amazon puffer is much smaller than a Maboo puffer. This means you spend much less on food, the purchase of the fish and the purchase of the tank. Additionally, the Amazon puffer is also one of the few pufferfish that you can keep in a community tank. Add to that their character and you have the ideal replacement. The next fish I want to discuss is the Arowana, or to be more specific, the Asian Arowana. It's a beautiful fish that is on most aquarists' wish list. However, it has some clear disadvantages, so let's dive in. A point I will make more often in this video is that most fish need a large aquarium, and this also applies to the Asian Arowana. For a single specimen, you need at least 500 liters, 132 gallons of water. Secondly, Asian Arowanas can be quite aggressive. It's true they're not in the list of the most aggressive predatory fish, but it is something to take in consideration. And thirdly, they are incredibly expensive fish to buy. Where I live, you can pay around 2,000 euros for a low-grade small Asian Arowana. Of course, Asian Arowanas do have a clear appeal, so let's take a look. And firstly, and this is kind of a personal thing, I really like the trap door of an Asian Arowana. Its mouth opens completely like this, and it can just swallow big chunks of meat. Secondly, I love how they glide over the top layer of your aquarium. Very gracefully, yet strong, they move through the water. The fact that you have a predatory fish in the top layer also helps with the distribution of fish within your tank. And thirdly, its unique shape. Like, it's just like there's a dragon gliding in the aquarium. It's just beautiful. So if I take a look at all of the disadvantages versus the advantages, I have to come up with an alternative. And I could be kind of a cop-out and just say, well, go for a silver Arowana, but I went for something else instead. I would advise to get an African butterfly fish. It's in the same family as the Arowanas, but it's way smaller. It has a size of 10 centimeters or 4 inches, so it's very easily to be kept in smaller aquariums. But I have to be honest, an Asian arowana is of course way more colorful than an African butterfly fish. However, I feel like the butterfly fish makes up for this with its unique body shape. The third fish I want to discuss today is the stingray. For many people, it's a dream to keep one, but often it remains a dream or it takes years before you can acquire a stingray. Well, I have a fish that you can acquire tomorrow without any trouble. Let's first look at the disadvantages of owning a stingray. First off, and I'm gonna say this a lot in this video, discus fish need a gigantic aquarium, at least 1,000 liters or 264 gallons for a single specimen. Also, if you want to keep stingrays, you will almost always need to have a custom-made aquarium, because stingrays need a very deep aquarium, because they have a giant disc-shaped body and they live on the bottom. So they want to have some depth, some swimming space for their own, which most standard size aquariums cannot provide. Secondly, stingrays are also very expensive to buy. Where I live, you quickly pay 1,000 euros for a nice stingray. And thirdly, and I've also said this before, the stingray is a big fish. A big predatory fish means a high food bill. I'm sorry guys. But I must be honest, stingrays are also high on my wish list. And here's why. Stingrays have a unique appearance that makes everyone keep looking at your aquarium. And secondly, I really like their feeding behavior and the fact that their mouth is on the bottom of their body. So when they come up to the glass, you can see the little mouth and you can see them eating. I really like that part about stingrays. And thirdly, stingrays can often live well with other stingrays, creating an interesting dynamic in your aquarium. So taking everything into consideration, if I had to advise some small alternative, I would go for a Hillstream Loach. It has the same body shape as a stingray, kind of. It has this distinctive disc. It also comes up to the glass, you can see it feed, you can see his mouth. It's compatible with other fish, but like way smaller. The fourth fish I want to discuss today is the Oscar cichlid. Oscars are great, personal, big, colorful, cheap fish. So what could be wrong with this fish? Oscars can grow quickly, faster than any other fish I've ever had. A small Oscar of 5 cm 2 inches can almost reach its maximum length of 45 cm 18 inches within a year. This causes problems because they could eat the tank mates overnight. Secondly, I hate to say this, but Oscar fish can be quite aggressive towards other fish in the aquarium, but also towards your decor. And in my experience, if your Oscar fish have targeted one fish in your aquarium, they won't leave it alone until it dies. Oscars can be real bullies. Thirdly, I have a rather personal point, but I think young Oscars are very beautiful and fun to watch. But as they get older, I think Oscars are kinda ugly. The eyes almost fall off the face and some adult Oscars develop a crooked mouth. Is everything negative about this fish then? Definitely not. I've had several Oscars myself and for the following appeal reasons. Well, the first appeal, I've got to be honest. When we're talking about personal fish, Oscars immediately come to mind. Like I've owned a few in the past and whenever I came in the room, they would swim up to the glass, kind of greet you. And I also notice a difference when I feed my Oscars versus when other people feed the Oscars. And that really makes it feel like you own a wet pet. Secondly, Oscars come in various colors and variants. Personally, I'm a fan of the white Oscar with lots of orange stripes, but they come in different colors and patterns. Thirdly, as mentioned before, Oscars are very cheap to get. Where I live, you can get a small juvenile Oscar for something about 5 euros. So if I had to come up with a solution, and you can see them swimming behind me, I would advise electric blue Ocaras. They have the same body shape. They're also very colorful, easy to breed. They can hold their own in something like a big cichlid aquarium, but they're also friendly enough to keep in a community tank. So in my opinion, they're actually the better version of an Oscar, but that's up to debate. The last fish I'm gonna discuss in this video is the red-tailed catfish, or RTC. It has a beautiful appearance, but it grows so large that I would advise actually nobody to get this pet. First of all, it needs to be stated that red-tailed catfish grow extremely large, up to about 1.5 meters or 5 feet in length. This means they need an incredibly big aquarium, which most of us can provide. RTCs have a reputation for eating everything. Whatever fish you try to keep in an RTC, as long as the fish is not clearly much larger, you run the risk that this fish will suddenly disappear. Thirdly, RTCs grow incredibly fast, like the same as with an Oscar, but your red-tailed catfish can grow so large so quickly that they can eat their new friend in the aquarium overnight. Of course, red-tailed catfish have a clear appeal. RTCs have a very beautiful appearance. The red color and a clear stripe on their body gives them a tough and yet beautiful look at the same time. Secondly, red-tailed catfish can be kept with other predatory fish, and it's really nice if you have a big predatory tank with things like polypteras, arowanas, etc. that you have something on the bottom that kind of helps you with the cleaning process. Thirdly, they are chunky boys. They are nice, thick and strong fish, giving them a tough appearance. So if I have to come up with an alternative for the red-tailed catfish, this really wouldn't be that hard. There are many beautiful catfish. But for this instance, I went for the striped Raphael catfish because they look very similar to the red-tailed catfish. The Raphael catfish also has this white stripe on the side of his body, but it doesn't have the red, unfortunately. But it grows to only 20 centimeters or 8 inches, making it very easy to keep in an aquarium. And that's it for today. I have a second video coming out about also 5 Monsterfish and 5 fish to get instead. And once it's done, you can watch it over here. For now, thanks for watching and please subscribe.